Welcome back, everyone, to another deep dive. Today, we're going to be taking a look at some of the latest news in the business and tech world. And it seems like AI is making headlines yet again.
Yeah, it really is. There's a lot of excitement right now, a lot of money flowing into AI.
Definitely. And two stories in particular kind of caught my eye. First is Dream, this cybersecurity company. They just secured a massive $100 million in Series B funding.
Yeah, that's huge, and it's significant, I think, because that round of funding values Dream at $1.1 billion. So it really shows that investors have a lot of confidence in their approach to cybersecurity, using AI especially for critical infrastructure.
It's a lot of money for sure. And then there's Latent Labs, and this one was founded by scientists from DeepMind, the folks behind AlphaFold. And they just raised $50 million to use AI for drug discovery. And their goal is pretty ambitious, what they're calling computational mastery over biology, to speed up the development of new medicines.
Yeah, that's a really fascinating goal. And I think what's really interesting there is how this approach really differs from traditional drug discovery. Instead of relying so much on lab experiments, Lytton Labs is using AI to actually simulate and analyze biological processes at a molecular level. And that could potentially really speed up the whole process of, identifying and testing potential new drugs.
It sounds like something straight out of science fiction, but it's happening right now. I mean, are we on the cusp of some kind of revolution in medicine?
Well, it's definitely a possibility. This convergence of AI and biology does have that potential to transform the way we develop and personalize treatments.
It's pretty incredible, and it seems like AI is being integrated into more and more applications all the time. One example is the AI and machinery market, where companies like Caterpillar, Hitachi, and Bosch Rexroth are all incorporating AI into their equipment.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're really seeing a move towards greater automation and efficiency in lots of industries. And, machines equipped with AI can analyze these massive data sets, they can identify patterns, and really optimize performance in ways that we couldn't have even imagined before.
It's almost like machines are becoming smarter, right? Is this the future of work?
Well, in a sense, yeah. I mean, these machines, they can learn and adapt and make decisions that enhance productivity and minimize errors. So, yeah, this shift towards intelligent automation could definitely reshape industries and change job roles as we know them.
So let's bring this down to earth for a minute. How might this affect the average person?
Well, think about healthcare. There's a growing trend of what's called conversational AI being integrated into the healthcare sector. And you have companies like CureMatrix, Babylon Health, and even Google leading the way.
So you're saying we could have like virtual doctors available all the time?
Well, it's not quite that simple yet, but conversational AI can really revolutionize how patients interact with the healthcare system. It can, streamline communication with providers, help with diagnosis, and even personalized treatment plans. Imagine having access to accurate, evidence-based medical information at any time.
That would be a game changer for sure. And speaking of game changers, the augmented reality software and services market is projected to reach almost $300 billion by 2029.
Yeah, that's a huge number, and it really shows the growing demand for immersive technologies. This could be a sign that AR and VR are about to become mainstream, and that has big implications for how we work, learn, shop, and even entertain ourselves.
It definitely seems like the future is headed towards a more interactive and digitally enhanced experience.
Oh, without a doubt, these technologies have enormous potential to change the way we live and interact with the world.
But before we get too carried away with these futuristic visions, let's take a look at some news coming out of Australia.
Okay, sure. What did you see?
Well, Australia's human resources and accounting services markets are seeing some pretty steady growth.
That's interesting. And, while those might seem like pretty traditional sectors, their growth does suggest a healthy economic environment and continued investment in those really essential business functions. So it's a good sign for the Australian economy overall.
It also suggests that there's a focus on talent acquisition and management, as well as financial stability and compliance. And those are all key elements for sustained growth, no matter how technologically advanced we become.
You're absolutely right. It's a good reminder that even in a world that's increasingly driven by technology, those core business functions are still super important for success.
And speaking of the tech world, we can't ignore the constant buzz around cryptocurrency.
Of course, cryptocurrency, it's a market that never sleeps, always making headlines.
Yeah, and one headline that caught my eye was Munisi Protocol. It's a platform for investing in those cryptocurrency liquidity pools, and they achieved record figures in January.
Yeah, and that's significant, especially considering the recent volatility we've seen in the crypto market. It suggests that there's still a lot of interest and activity in the crypto space, even with all the uncertainty.
So it seems like there are always new opportunities popping up in the crypto world, but AI really does seem to be the dominant force shaping the future of business and technology right now.
I think that's a fair assessment. We see its influence in cybersecurity, drug discovery, automation, healthcare, even entertainment. It's a truly transformative technology, and we're still just seeing the beginning of its impact, I think.
And it does feel like we're just at the beginning of this AI revolution. So where do you think this is all going to lead?
Well, it's both exciting and a bit daunting to think about. The possibilities are really vast. AI has the potential to solve some of the world's biggest challenges, but we also have to think carefully about the ethical implications of its development and how we use it.
Yeah, I agree. It's not just about the technology itself, but about how we choose to use it. We need to make sure that AI benefits all of humanity.
Absolutely, we have to be mindful of potential biases, ensure fairness and transparency, and always prioritize human well-being as we navigate this rapidly evolving landscape.
These are really important conversations to have as AI becomes more integrated into our lives. But for now, let's shift gears a bit and maybe dive into a specific example of AI's growing influence.
Okay, sounds good. What do you have in mind?
Let's talk about conversational AI in healthcare. We touched on it briefly before, but I think it deserves a closer look.
I agree. It's a fascinating area with huge potential to really change healthcare. Let's explore it further. So, conversational AI in healthcare, it really offers some exciting possibilities. Basically, it's about using AI-powered chatbots or virtual assistants to interact with patients, provide information, and even offer some medical guidance.
Yeah, we're all familiar with those chatbots on websites, but how is this different in healthcare?
Well, the key difference, I think, is the level of sophistication and how these systems are actually integrated with healthcare systems. These aren't just your basic chatbots giving generic responses, conversational AI in healthcare. It's designed to understand medical terminology, process symptoms, and even access medical records to give personalized and relevant information.
Okay, so could this actually replace doctors then?
It's not really about replacing doctors, but more about augmenting their capabilities and making healthcare more accessible and efficient. Think of it as like a first point of contact. It can triage patients, answer those common questions, schedule appointments, even give some basic health advice based on someone's medical history.
Yeah, I could see how that would be really useful, especially for, routine things or for people in areas where there aren't enough doctors.
Exactly. And it can also help reduce the burden on healthcare systems by giving doctors more time to focus on those complex cases that really need their expertise.
So what are some specific examples of how this technology is actually being used?
Well, one area is symptom checking and preliminary diagnosis. There are companies like Babylon Health that are developing AI-powered apps that allow users to input their symptoms and then they can receive potential diagnoses or recommendations for what to do next.
Isn't that a little risky, though? I mean, diagnosing illnesses seems like something that should be left to, trained professionals.
Yeah, that's a good point. These AI systems aren't meant to replace a doctor's diagnosis. They're more like a guide. They help patients understand their symptoms better and decide if they really need to see a doctor or not.
So it's more about giving patients the tools to take control of their own health and make informed decisions.
Exactly. Another interesting application is in mental health support. There's a chatbot called Wobot that uses conversational AI to provide cognitive behavioral therapy techniques and support for people who are struggling with anxiety or depression.
Wow, that's incredible. It could be really helpful for people who don't have access to therapy or, maybe they're just uncomfortable seeking help.
Yeah, definitely. And it's important to remember that while conversational AI shows a lot of promise, it's still a technology that's developing. There are challenges to overcome, like making sure it's accurate, addressing privacy concerns, and maintaining that human touch in healthcare.
Those are all really good points. So what do you see as the future of conversational AI in healthcare?
Well, I really believe it has the potential to revolutionize healthcare as the technology improves and becomes more sophisticated. We'll likely see even more innovative applications, and that will continue to improve patient care and make healthcare more accessible.
It's definitely an area to watch. So we've covered a lot today, from AI's impact on cybersecurity and drug discovery to its role in automation and healthcare.
We've also seen how AI is driving innovation in things like augmented reality and even changing traditional industries like HR and accounting.
And of course, we can't forget about the constant excitement around cryptocurrency and how it could disrupt financial systems.
It's been a whirlwind tour of the latest developments in business and tech, and it seems clear that AI is really at the heart of much of this innovation.
It really is fascinating to see how this technology is shaping our world, both now and in the future. So as we wrap up this deep dive today, I want to leave our listeners with a thought.
Okay, I'm listening. What's on your mind?
Well, we've talked a lot about the potential benefits of AI, but we also need to consider the other side of the coin.
You mean the potential risks and ethical concerns around AI development and how it's deployed?
Exactly. While AI offers these incredible opportunities, we can't forget to approach it with a balanced perspective.
I agree. It's important to have these open and honest conversations about the potential downsides of AI, things like job displacement, algorithmic bias, and even the possibility that this powerful technology could be misused.
It's really our responsibility to make sure that AI is developed and used ethically with the goal of benefiting all of humanity.
Absolutely. We need to think critically about the implications of AI and work towards a future where it's a force for good in the world.
Well said, and with that, we'll wrap up our deep dive for today.
It's been a pleasure exploring these topics with you.
It's been great having you on the show today. Thanks again for sharing your insights.
Oh, the pleasure was all mine. Always enjoy these conversations.
As we wrap up this deep dive, I wanted to leave our listeners with one final thought.
Okay, I'm intrigued. What is it?
Well, we've talked a lot about the potential of AI across different sectors, but what about its impact on something like creativity?
That's a really interesting question. We've already seen AI being used to create art, compose music, even write stories. It really raises some questions about what creativity actually is and the role of human artists in a world where AI is so prevalent.
Right, so will AI become like our muse or our competitor when it comes to creativity?
Well, maybe a little bit of both. AI can certainly be a tool for inspiration and pushing boundaries, but it also challenges us to really rethink what it means to be creative and to find new ways to collaborate with these intelligent systems.
It's definitely a thought-provoking idea. So do you think we'll see a kind of fusion of human and artificial creativity that leads to completely new forms of art and expression? Or will AI eventually just surpass human capabilities in this area?
It's hard to say for sure, but one thing's for certain. The intersection of AI and creativity is a really fascinating frontier full of possibilities and challenges. It's definitely an area that deserves more exploration and discussion.
I completely agree. And on that note, we'll bring this deep dive to a close. Thanks to all of our listeners for joining us on this journey through the latest business and tech news. We'll see you in our next deep dive.
Thanks for having me. AAAMT.